Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University for our seventh, I almost said fourth or fifth, but it's our seventh episode in the series on fat loss basics. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson. We're going to talk about the transitions. And we've covered a little this around the edges, Adam, but even getting into the position to start losing body fat, I always liked personally to take kind of an approach of, I want to be at a certain level to even call it the starting line. So I may be kind of toward the end of the off season. I'm already cleaning up my diet a little bit, starting just a little bit of cardio, and all of a sudden I'm already down a few pounds and I feel better. And then I feel conditioned from a mental dieting perspective, as well as even physically, to start the process. That makes it an easier transition instead of saying, oh, hey, I'm just going to finish with this one last week of pure gluttony and then start my diet on a dime. So that's the kind of transition, because I'm a forward thinker, a planner. I like to stay ahead of the game. And then, we also are going to end up talking about some of the diet breaks and so forth and transitioning out. But just this whole concept, Adam, what does it mean to you in terms of making different shifts with clients along the way?
Yeah, I think if you're not ready to diet unless you're seeing results, you're just not ready to diet, period. So just like you said, doing a pre-diet, it's not really necessarily always to lose body fat, but it's just to create a baseline. Where am I? Maybe I can diet for sustainment right now. When people are ready to do that, then they clearly can put the work in. And it's definitely more rewarding to diet and see fat loss, obviously. But I really do like to do a baseline. Here's where calories need to be. I might keep cardio super low just so we have all these things that we can utilize and take away from. I'll even try things like keeping caffeine low. If somebody's consuming a lot of caffeine in the off season, let's pull that out, because you theoretically shouldn't even need it right now. You're consuming enough calories. So we can utilize this and have a better effect when you need it later on down the road. So we try to maximize calories, lower energy expenditure, really lower any kind of aids that's helping, I hate to say it, helping someone get through their day. And just that allows the transition into prep to be a much smoother one.
Well, and then when we get into the diet, we've already talked in a few different series about phases of dieting, but there are going to be some transitions where you need to maybe ratchet down, bring calories down a little bit. You've lost 10 or 15 pounds. Your body is leaner, more efficient. So it's time to take a few calories away. Or as we mentioned in the cardio segment, we're going to increase intensity and duration in a couple spots. But I'm not yet somebody who has really planned ahead of time substantial diet breaks, unless it's somebody that has a really, large amount of body fat to lose, and we have a year-long type goal. But somebody who's got 15, 20, 25 pounds to lose, I know there are going to be some natural transitions through the dieting phases. So I don't necessarily need to say, well, let's carve out 2 weeks or a month to just kind of cool it down a little bit and then come back strong. But I think there are times when you need to maybe do a weekend like that or a week. But how are you employing diet breaks at this point?
Very, very similar to you. I honestly think the more you plan those things, the more, they just end up being different than how you plan them to be. I know Eric was huge on this in his book, where I think he said, I try to plan on 4 diet breaks per every couple weeks. So I think he divided it up over 24-week prep, that there would be 4 diet breaks in there. Well, I've found some clients don't need them as often or that often, but when those stalls do occur, that's where we nip it right then and say, this is where we need that. Sometimes they're not planned. Maybe a vacation comes up and
Exactly.
someone wants to enjoy themselves, and I say, hey, let's do our diet break here. I thought we might be doing this 2 weeks down the road, but it's definitely better to have it now, and they can enjoy some time with their family, and then we move back into lower calories after that.
Absolutely. And then finally, as a way to just to wrap up this whole series, reverse dieting has become incredibly popular, something that I kind of stumbled on by accident probably almost 20 years ago when I first started it with clients and writing about it. And now it's an important part of planning, because a lot of clients fear the end of the road, and they've done all of this work and they know in the past maybe they've felt the urge to just really overeat and binge. They end up 10 pounds heavier a week or two later, and they just feel horrible. Obviously it's not healthy. There's nothing good about that. So I think we're probably going to be very similar here too, Adam, where we start planning this and talking about it a couple weeks before the show. Here's going to be the game plan. Here's what we're going to do the day after the show. Here's how you can keep some boundaries to enjoy yourself. And then it's going to be an incremental process. Usually doesn't take more than a couple months, sometimes only 4 to 6 weeks, to just stair step calories up. A little, carbs maybe first, a little extra fat. Maybe you give them a little bit more of kind of a cheat meal format on the weekends. And in all of those variables between carbs, fats, and relaxed meals, cheat meals, elevating different parts of that equation through a month or two process really gets you to the end of the road, where now you're back to maintenance levels of calories without that much fat gain. Certainly not more than you wanted or planned if you do it correctly.
Yeah, that's huge, and it's a huge component of the sport and returning to the sport in a better scenario than you were the first time. I actually recently just had 2 girls decide to stop prepping. They were both national level competitors and probably would have done very well. But, this was a very difficult season. All of them dieted probably 3 months longer than they thought they needed to. And I said, if you stop now, I will not be disappointed, because if you're struggling with dieting now and we push for another month, we may not even be able to hit a reverse diet, which means you'll probably never get to the stage again. And I said, that's just too big of a risk. I said, why don't we consider ending prep now in a healthier mental spot and return next year? And I'm proud of my girls who chose to do that, because that's a really hard decision to make. But, reversing is so important. And I think we've all seen clients that don't reverse properly, and it ends up being a nightmare getting them back to stage.
It's very frustrating. And I think that's why you have to consider that it's not a free-for-all, like the show's over, yay, hit the finish line, and we're done. You got to plan on the process coming back up. And again, you're getting a lot more food, and it's gonna happen in stages, but it's definitely gonna happen. So if you can just stay disciplined and stick to that plan, you're gonna be so much happier physiologically. To just keep that body fat off is gonna make it so much easier, as Adam said, that next round. So hope you guys enjoyed this series on fat loss basics. We're gonna take another series to try and expand it, keep the same format, but get into some of the advanced nuances of each category and make sure you have all the tools you need for a successful contest season. So thank you, Adam, and we'll see you guys next time in Contest Prep University.